We're continuing our breaking news report from Adenta, Madina Adenta stretch, where gunshots have been fired by police who have also been using tear gas to try and disperse angry residents who are protesting the pedestrian knockdowns on that road. Just this afternoon, another girl has been killed on that road. Well, we have some visuals from that place. We'll be showing you those visuals shortly. But let me run you through what's been happening so far. So a few hours ago, we understand that there was a pedestrian knockdown. Like I said, it involved a senior high student, a first-year senior high student of the WAS school there. She was knocked down by a taxi driver. This angered the resident in that area who poured onto the road protesting, because this has been an issue they've been protesting for a while, an issue of discussion, an issue of national discussion, and they've been protesting for a while. There have been several posters reading "Fix our footbridges now" in Adenta and on a particular footbridge under which they're burning tires at the moment. So the angry resident poured out onto the street after the taxi driver knocked down this SHS student, and they went burning tires. Now we understand that after that, the taxi driver turned himself into the police, but that did not appease the resident at all. They've been burning tires, a number of tires we understand they've been burning. The fire service was called in to try and quench that fire. That did not work because they just kept on burning even more tires. Now the police came in. What we understand is that the police has been firing some gunshots. There are unconfirmed reports that some people have been caught in that crossfire. What we know is that the police also tried to use tear gas to try and disperse the crowd. That was not working, quite working. So the police called for reinforcement. Mind you, this happened very close to the Adenta police station, and we'll be taking you there shortly. Let's go to our Facebook page, on the Joy News Facebook page, and find out what you people have been saying about it. We put some video there. And let me start with Dennis's report, Dennis's comment. Dennis Owuswansa says, "I am highly disappointed in this government. The president has been traveling each day. He won't even stay in the country, in his country, you say, to see what is going on. I am tempted to believe that he has fulfilled his childhood dreams of becoming president." That is Dennis Owuswansa's comment. Francis Apuri says, "In fact, I guess people willingly donate their able tires to the demonstrators. Elsewhere, do they get all?" Okay, you're saying otherwise. I think you're trying to write, where do they get all these tires they are burning from? Which shows that they are burning a number of tires in the street, blocking the road. Shamo Nesta said, "But this is not the right way to go, my people. Go after leaders who are not doing their job and corrupt people, depriving the nation." So Shamonesta, what he's trying to basically say is that if you block the road, you're basically blocking other people just like you, other concerned citizens just like you. But you should go after the lawmakers. That's what they say. Richard Kwabena Ekufo says this is serious. Kadidi Moses goes on to say, "Where be this?" So you're basically trying to find out where this is happening. Well, this is happening right here, right now, on the Madina Adenta stretch. Raphael Bonzi says, "Well done." You're telling the people of Madina Adenta that well done for what is happening there. We have our correspondent on the floor. We'll be getting to them pretty shortly. But first, let's bring you an aerial view of what's happening on that stretch of road now.
But it's leaving the place.
No, it's going there. It's going to where there's that distance is.
This is not where the thing happened.
This is where the car is being bent. That's where I'm going to.
They're burning a car.
They're burning something here. That's where this. Oh, car tire rather.
I think so.
Yeah, mommy. Yes, me was ACC, me call 37 about 6 years. Yeah.
Oh, this stretch of road very well. This leads right to Adenta. If you live in Oyarefa, if you live in Ebri, thereabout a Kropon, Mampon, this is usually the road you take if you're going through. And those fumes there billowing into the atmosphere. Those are tires, scores of tires. It appears the residents have been burning there on the road. Now, what they've done is cut off every traffic flowing, ongoing and incoming. They've all been blocked. Now, this is happening very close to the Adenta police station, mind you. And those are some of the residents on the road. The police, on the other hand, have been trying to calm nerves. We understand from our reporters that they try to just say, well, you can protest, just don't destroy anything. But at some point, we understand they've had to fire tear gas and some gunshots there to try and disperse the people. This is happening right here, right now in the city. It is happening in Adenta, on the Madina Adenta stretch. That is some thick smoke right there, cutting off the traffic completely, making it impossible for incoming and ongoing vehicles to pass. If you know, this shot certainly gives you an idea of the area we're talking about. That's just the and that's the area. Komla Adam is on the line with me. Komla is on the ground. He's been in the thick of affairs where gunshots have been fired all over his head. Komla joins me. Komla, what can you report at this point?
Gifty, I have to say that the situation is far from easing up, even though the police have been able to ensure that the burning of the tires has ceased. The debris from the burning of the tires are being cleared at the moment. The fire service have been working to quench the flames here. But the residents who earlier were running away from the firing of the gunshots, are back on the streets. I have to say, they have lined up the entire stretch from the Barrister's foot joint all the way up to the West Africa Senior High School. And both sides of the roads, I have to say, lined up with residents who are insisting or bent on getting the police to move away from here, because they say when the police fired some of the shots, it hit some of their residents, and they will not allow this to pass without a fight. So earlier there was some exchanges between some of the residents and the police. The stones were being thrown from all angles, flying from left, right, center. If you can hear from the background, vehicles are now able to move on the stretch after the debris had been cleared completely. But the residents are still here. They are still.
So Kamla, help me understand this. What you say is that there were gunshots. Do we know how many people were injured by these gunshots?
I spoke to at least two people who told me that they sustained some injury. One of the individuals even showed me, the remnants of the bullets that was used, and he showed me he had sustained some injury to his side. And I'm told that at least 3 people have been rushed to the hospital from, some of the residents I spoke to. They say at least 3 of their members have been rushed to the hospital after sustaining injuries from the gunshots. So that is the update from here at Adenta STA specifically.
Okay.
Movement is now open. The traffic is now open here. The vehicles are moving gradually. Okay. The police are ensuring that this is happening seamlessly. But the residents, it doesn't look like they're going to move anyway from here at any time soon.
Kamla, help me understand this. Now, the residents who poured on the street, first of all, the police started firing shots and tear gas. That did disperse them, didn't it?
It did disperse them temporarily, because once the firing was happening, the residents were running for cover, running into the next available space. The shops around here, the buildings, they were all running for cover. But once they noticed that the firing had gone down, they reemerged and now throwing stones. And then the police also reacted by using their water cannons to try and disperse them. Okay, I see a situation at the moment.
Tell us about it.
Police is chasing some of the students into the West Africa Senior High School premises. Let me just get close and see what exactly is happening there.
Okay. Komla,
okay, I see. Okay, this is a fight. Not police.
Not the police.
Are beating up an individual. I do not know who, but the students are beating up a young man. I do not know who. I don't know what he has done. Okay, so that was just.
All right, so that's Kamla Adom there. Kamla Adom, it seems like you can't take some of the scenes there. Take it easy. Tell us what's happening.
Just when we thought the situation had stabilized, just when we thought we had stabilized, there was a situation.
Kamla, tell us what's happening.
Okay. All right, so police is trying to calm the situation now. I think that they've moved to the West Africa Senior High School entrance, trying to get the situation under control.
So, Kamla Adom there trying to help us know what's happening on the ground. You can see the aerial shots of the burning of the tires and everything, but it is like a lot more action is on the ground. We'll be doing social media in a bit, but Kamla, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Jesse.
What was happening in the school?
Okay, so I'm getting some clarification from some of the people here. The young man who was being beaten up by some of the students of the West Africa Senior High School, I'm learning is a driver. And he's for a driver, not then I like
Okay.
Okay, so okay, I see that police have gotten hold of one individual.
So Kamla, let's do this. Let's do it this way, Kamla. I'm going to give you a few minutes
so police have just picked up one individual who we are told was attacking police.
Right.
He's being moved into the police vehicle. He's being dragged from the front of the West Africa.
Okay, Kamla, I'm going to give you a few minutes to try and work this out, gather the information, and get back to us with that information as to what happened in that school. Let's find out what happened before the police arrested them. We'll go back to Kamla Adom on the ground for us. This is still our coverage of the breaking news, what's happening on the Madina Adenta stretch of road where traffic has been blocked for a while now. Police have been firing gunshots and tear gas trying to disperse angry, agitated residents there following another pedestrian knockdown. Aisha Ibrahim joins me here with what's happening on social media, our social media platforms. Aisha, people are disturbed.
Gifty, it's indeed a sad evening or afternoon. I mean, since afternoon, people have been complaining,
right.
You know, they're just worried about what is happening on that stretch, Madina Adenta stretch. And the most worrying aspect of this whole thing is the fact that the minister hasn't spoken. Whether he's out of the country or out of Accra.
Well, we understand that the minister is in the Western region.
He's in the Western region, and
let's hear what
he's
people
not speaking.
are saying.
And that's what is getting a lot more people angry. So Amaga Love says, don't blame the leaders, blame the people. How can we cross a highway road when there's a walkway? My people, we have to wise up and stop blaming leaders. Mameya Chumwa says the footbridge must be completed irrespective of who started it, and pedestrians must use it simple. Abba, where there are footbridges too, people still cross the road without using the footbridge. Abba, what a country. Shaking my head. Ademola Kojo Jr. Rai, see what's happening. Oh, innocent people are just dying. Block the road, no cars should move. I'm coming there now. Let me drive my banco. And Viola says the useless. Well, that's a bit too harsh. Joseph Parkway Kuala says we don't eat infrastructure. We don't eat infrastructure. And Ruby Nati says Ghana is not progressing under this super incompetent president. Don Nash says this is the only language they understand well. And Hamas. Okay, so Kwekunyantechi says the mindset underdeveloped crisis episode continues only in Ghana. And Dila Batsman says indisciplined drivers using their phones while driving, careless driving. And Stephen Tetena says, what at all is wrong with our leaders? God help us all. And Yakubu Mohammed says, well done, Adentan, good job. So, Gifty, and a lot of the comments who are coming on WhatsApp, and this one, he says, this country needs prayers. And this one, he says, okay, so this country needs prayers. This one says the minister must come out to speak and cool tempers. And this one, he's sending from Kumasi. He says, we don't need this needless death. Minister, what at all are you waiting for? Please get the road fixed. And those are some comments coming on WhatsApp. This one says, why will our leaders want to wait for 3 months to fix the footbridges? That's a question I'm sure the minister will have answers to give to.
And Aisha, let's get on Twitter. What's happening on Twitter?
On Twitter, a number of comments there. Asafwe J. Mandela, he says, what is happening in Adenta currently will soon happen on the motorway. Country Ben Kreni, na your problems does to say. We have never solved the problem permanently. It's like our problems are recycled. And Francisca D. Ahin says, when frustration sets in, but must it always lead to this? And he says, Adenta road blocked. And I mean, you can see that people are really, really agitated about this whole thing. Okay, so Israelite posted that tweet, and it's got people talking. It says, residents along Madina Adenta highway block the route following latest pedestrian knockdown. They say brings to 195 the number of incidents on that route. They blame lack of footbridges and faulty pedestrian lights for the knockdowns. And this has got a lot of people talking, retweeting on Twitter.
Asha, you were telling me about the response of the minister and how it's been really, really, really slow. We have not yet heard from the minister, and of
people
course,
are very offended.
And here at Joy News, Aisha, you do know that we've been trying to reach out to the Ministry
and
of Transport.
It's been to no avail. None of them is willing to speak. Even the minister, I mean, it took us a very long time to get him to speak. At that one, we had to persuade him to speak. And even that one, he really didn't say anything that will cool tempers. He said we should wait for him to come back from the Western region so that he will come and respond to issues, not to fix the problems, but to respond to issues. So, Gifty, we are still waiting for the minister to come back. I'm asking the question, doesn't he have a deputy minister? Doesn't he have, aren't there directors at the
ministry,
roads and highways ministry,
because this campaign really has been going on
issues while the minister was away? Does it mean that when the minister is away, he carries the whole ministry along with him? Well,
those are a lot of questions. And people, I mean, the comments that we've read to you on Facebook, the comments on Twitter, most of you have been saying this. And there's one comment that, you know, stood out for me. The gentleman says, when you do this, you're basically attacking other people who are using the road. But you should face the authorities. You should reach out to the authorities. And we've been waiting for them to speak. This campaign has been going on for about, if I'm not mistaken, Aisha, about 2 months now.
About 2 months now, or even more.
And on the same footbridge, you get to see one of those banners that says, fix our footbridges now. Several people have died just this week. About 2 people have died. Add this to it, and we're talking about 3 people. Here is a young lady who's gone to school trying to get some education here.
And
then, yes, she's and I believe she's probably in the
double track system.
She's in the green track. The green track, and she's finished the green track. She's waiting for the next experience, and she's dead for nothing.
From nothing. And the same points Anita Osei is making. She says the leaders in Ghana are selfish. They don't care about the people who voted them into power. And this one, it's coming from Ike from Brekum. He says, hey, Ghana, this government told us we don't eat roads and infrastructure. Now we see the importance of it. And this one, he says, when citizens shout, government listens. That's what politicians of today want to see before they act. Quite a number of messages are popping in. Kwabena says, do we have to always blame leaders? It is mandatory for drivers to drive 500 kilometers per hour. Why should we be speeding on a road we have been talking about? Please meet the leaders to advise our drivers and not to wait for a minister to talk. Okay. Drivers, please slow down on this road.
And we'll be taking more of your comment as we go along. But the Member of Parliament for Madina, Boniface Abubakar, on Tuesday told the media the bridges would be fixed in 4 months. This was after the Ghana Highway Authority said it would be fixed by the end of 2019. Listen to Boniface Abubakar.
I had the opportunity to be in cabinet. We raised the matter. The president, in his own wisdom, has given approval for the completion of the footbridges. But you know, It was being constructed by a Chinese company.
Where the president has given approval means what exactly? Because earlier there was a complaint that funds were unavailable. The contractor
what you should know is that the whole bridge is about 10 years old now. Under normal circumstances, the major part of the whole bridge has been done. What is left is just the arms of the bridge, where you climb and where you descend. That's the only places that were left. But that is the footbridge itself.
So that the president's approval is that what exactly?
Which means that the president has authorized the Minister for Finance to assist the Minister for Roads and Highways to ensure that those bridges are completed. But the fact that the approval has been given doesn't mean that the project will be completed immediately. There are systems, procurement processes have to go through before you can get it done. And my follow-up with the minister, in fact, he gave me the assurance.
The finance minister, the roads minister.
The roads minister, which means who has indicated that within a period of 3 months, they should be able to get procurement processes done. And I don't think doing the arms of the bridge should take you more than 1 or 2 months. And so I'm very sure that once the bridges are awarded a contract, because originally the contractor, listen, let me finish. What is happening is that the contractor who originally began those bridges is currently in the country. The contract has not been abrogated. But because of the nature, because this contract was tied to other contracts. The main road, that is the highway to Aburi, was done by the Chinese contractor, and the bridges were part of the contract. And that is why they were able to, yes. And the same Chinese company has now moved to the Suhum dual carriage. And so they've gone back because they demanded payment of some amount, and part of that payment has been done. So they've moved to the major project. But negotiations have gone through to ensure that those projects are taken and given to other contractors. Because if you go to Madina, there are 6 bridges in number. And so the minister, in his own wisdom, is thinking that it would be better to give it out to 3 contractors, so that each will do 2. And so if they give them out immediately, at least we think the contract, the bridges will be done as quickly as possible.
So that if I'm to put together the timelines you've given, about 3 months.
I'm not the minister.
I prefer to understand.
Initially, let me tell you, initially when I was in cabinet, the minister gave assurance, based on payment to be made, the construction should have begun in October. October is past. Nothing has begun. But now that some payments have been done, I'm sure, and his time lines that he has given, I'm sure maybe within the next 2-3 months we should see the contract taken
hopefully
off.
In the next 2-3 months, the
that would mean that by
that will take another month.
Yes, maybe next year. Let's say January to March, we should have the bridges completed.
This problem has persisted for a while. As MP, what pressure have you seek to pile on your own government to get it done? More than
my brother, I've told you that I took this matter to cabinet. This bridge is not just 1 month old. It's 10 years. I was part of President Kufuor's cabinet when the construction was going on. Now we lost power. NDC came to power for 8 years. 8 years, not 8 months. 8 years, but they never did anything. We never complained.
That is Boniface Abubakar there speaking about that road. Well, we'll do a few social media comments, and then we hand over to Raymond Aqua with Upfront. Aisha.
A quick one that touched me. Ejokum Jima, he says not to endorse, and that's on Twitter, he said not to endorse radicalism and vandalism, but these days it seems that is the only language politicians understand. If that is the case, then them no see nothing yet. There's one day, I'm not sure whether it's coming from the ex-president John Dramani Mahama. It could be somebody else using his name. And the message is, I'm in support of the protest of Adenta. Abi, you say we, your leaders, we need to be pushed to act. So he says hashtag Adenta. And NY Boating says, I'm happy that it is the ordinary people of Adenta that are spearheading this, and not any 2x4 celebrity who later will make it all about themselves and take glory for what the masses fought for. Power to them. And those are very interesting comments. On WhatsApp, I'll pick a few more on WhatsApp. And this one says, God have mercy on us. As a mother, I just can't think far. May the soul of the poor girl rest in peace. Oh, Ghana, that bang. Please, our leaders, wake up. This is emergency. Why? And I mean, if you look at the messages that have come in,
Aisha, let me interrupt you briefly and engage Komla quickly on the very latest on the grounds. Komla?
Hello?
You were checking for us what was happening in the school. Tell us, and what's the update?
Oh, I can say at the moment, vehicles are moving, the traffic is flowing, everything has been cleared. The vehicles are being allowed to move from Madina to Adenta, and then from Adenta to Madina. So it's all fair here now. But there is just a little, situation in front of the West Africa Senior High School. The police have moved their crowd control vehicle here, and they, got the individuals to push back and go into the school and block up the gate. And let me get close. Let me find out exactly why. They are telling me, I'm picking information that some of the residents, went into the school compound, and it is from there that they were throwing all sorts of implements, throwing stones, and so that is why the police have moved in to attempt to get students or the people, the residents, to move far back from the entrance of the school. So quite a number of police officials stationed in front of the West Africa Senior High School trying to ensure calm at the moment here. But apart from that, it's going traffic now on both sides of the road. Everything has been cleared. The situation has calmed down somewhat a bit quickly.
Well, Komla, thank you very much for that update. Komla Adum there, he's been on the ground, he's been in the thick of affairs, bringing us up to speed on what's happening. Calm has been restored, we understand, and there is thoroughfare. The vehicles are moving, so if you live in that area, well, it's about time you could go home, but just be careful on the road. But we still know that the WAS, or the West Africa Senior High School, has been locked by the police because some of the residents used the place to pelt stones at them. Let's wrap up with a quick...
To wrap up to make way for up front, and I'm sure we'll continue that conversation
on
over there. But this one last comment coming from, okay, he didn't add his name. He says, I wish I can get an opportunity to work with such a great and reliable news channel, Joy News. If there's room for unemployment, just contact me. Thank you so much for appreciating what we do.
In the meantime, we're encouraging all residents to be able to stand up for your rights, stand up for what belongs to you, stand up for what's rightfully yours. Where are the authorities in the midst of all of these? We have yet to hear from the Ministry of Transport. We have yet to hear from the President. We understand that the roads minister is now in Accra. We have not yet heard from him. We've made several attempts to reach the ministry and to get them to comment on this. In the meantime, people are dying. Every day, people are dying. Today, a young lady has died. Is it worth it?